directions players go with Hunter sometimes. Include Lepinomes, include Abusives, to not include them. I've seen Web Spinners and Lepinomes and Abusives in decks. I'm just like, why have you got so many?
Yeah, it's literally somebody, it's like a really, I think it's interesting the way that Hunters can be built now. Instead of just the mid-range or just the face, this hybrid, when it came around a few months ago, it took the tournament scene by storm, the ladder and the tournament scene. And it's interesting because you can always push it either, in one direction or the other. You can make it more mid-rangey, you can make it more aggressive. You get to pick where you want to take the deck. And the Stranglethorn Tiger, you mentioned Ram Wrangler. I like the fact that Ram Wrangler, because of Stranglethorn Tiger, can be used as a proxy 6-drop. If you don't have the high main, then you have the Ram Wrangler. And you can always play Wrangler with a Web Spinner, or, you can play it with a Haunted Creeper that stayed on the board. I think it's overall a card that there's room for it, and I think it makes Ram Wrangler even better. But does it work in a deck with Lepinomes? That's the question I have.
Well, we'll see if Orange actually packs those Ram Wranglers. I'd be interested to see what direction. It looks very hybrid. The Stranglethorn Tiger does tell us a lot about... If you're in a Stranglethorn Tiger and Face Hunter, you're just not playing right. Well, you're not doing it right.
Then again, it is guaranteed 5 damage, so it plays into your game plan, I guess, to an extent, right? Since you are guaranteed to be able to attack with it, it could make sense. And there was a Zombie Chow. So we're in the game here. We had a little bit of an issue with the webcams from the players. We'll watch the first game without it, and then we'll resume as soon as we can. A little bit of a technical issue here. Should be sorted out somewhat soon.
So, Abusive Sergeant, we're talking about the 1-drops. Abusive Lepinome is probably the dual 1-drops that we're going to be surprised to see a Web Spinning come from Orange. Thijs, we talked a lot about Orange's Hunter. Thijs is Paladin. What do you think about this?
I think I like it. He's playing a mid-range version of Paladin that includes secrets, I believe. And what that does is that it doesn't revolve completely around, quote-unquote, the gimmick. It's better against aggressive decks. It's backing Zombie Chows with secrets. Not something you see all the time, but it was at one point recently, I think, rank 1 legend, a deck like this one. So it's not just a hyper-aggressive Paladin. It's a little bit more of a mid-range deck, sprinkling them in.
And Thijs did touch on this deck with us briefly earlier, saying like Adi, you've been playing it a lot, and he obviously is his teammate, so took some inspiration from there. I'm just looking at the play from there. Coining out the Avenge is super good here because if he forces a trade, at least then he gets put on more pressure with a 4-3. One of those dudes getting buffed up. Yeah,
you're forcing a bow from the opponent if he has it, which you'd be, I mean, it would be a little bit of an issue in this case because the secret is still not handled, but you're kind of okay challenging it with the 4-3. I just feel like the Zombie Chow start from Thijs is exactly the reason why you put it in the deck. It's not something you intuitively put in the deck that has secrets, but it's something you would put in mid-range, which makes that, the deck is really just that much more interesting.
Yeah, Zombie Chow is going to be finding its place in a couple of decks going forward in the metagame once the Warsong Nerf comes in. Thijs actually testing the trap with his weapon there, making sure it isn't a bear trap, an explosive trap, even a misdirect, who knows?
Oh, God. God forbid. That would be like guaranteed 4 damage here in this case. I feel like, now that it's Freezing Trap or Snake Trap, it's either of them, do you risk attacking with a 4-3? Because you literally lose the Avenge by doing so.
I don't think you do. I think you can develop a mini-bot. You could even keep the Knife Juggle if you wanted, or just go for it. I think the mini-bot can proc the trap for you, and the 4-3 can stay as a threat, but Thijs doesn't seem to agree. He doesn't seem to mind this bouncing back to his hand, and it looks like he's just going to develop the Knife Juggle and the mini-bot.
Because the tempo loss of not triggering the trap right now is that if your opponent is able to deal with your board as it is, then you're never going to be able to get a better time to trigger the trap, in which case you'll just be falling behind on tempo. So I kind of like the reasoning behind the move that Thijs just made. So we'll see whether or not that Animal Companion is Huffer. It is not.
It's not Huffer, man. He's not playing Hunter right.
No.
You should roll Huffer every time.
I don't know. I feel like that comes with practice. Thijs is not a player that I see playing too much Paladin. I think this is mostly RDU's gig. At least I see him play a lot more of it. So maybe, he's learning.
Although he has teammates who do play Paladin, like you said, RDU, but not only that, Life Coach before Patron became such a dominant force. Control Paladin was a staple deck in his lineup for a very long time. He had like Kel'Thuzad in it and stuff like that.
It was the best with Paladin Sky Golem, and you couldn't deal with it if you were a Control Warrior. That was the best time for Life Coach. I really remember those days fondly because Control Paladin is all but extinct now that they got Shielded Minibot and Muster for battle, and that they can actually play it a little bit faster. Control Paladin seems to just have vanished. I miss it.
Maybe we'll see it back from Life Coach to follow the Patron nerf, but 6-6 does challenge the minions pretty well here.
Still no Huffer. That's a little unfortunate.
And Leok's not great here. You really want probably a Misha to protect you from the 6/6.
Yeah, this stage it would have been the best one because besides True Server Champion, you would be able to protect everything. And we see right now that oh, Dog is playing. It seems on the right we see the Dog is actually Orange, and Orange is actually Thijs.
Just a bit of the old switcheroo there.
Yeah,
going
the old
forward
Hearthstone switcheroo.
Going forward for Thijs here. He has a get down, so he has a way to protect his minion here. But other than that, I mean, he doesn't have a lot going on. He's got Blessing of Kings, so he could go super aggressive if you wanted, but I don't think that's the right line.
Iron Beak would punish you, I think, a bit too severely if you went for that line of play. Unless you're gonna, deal the killing blow, maybe you don't do that. And the thing is, you could consider attacking the 3/3 if you wanted, but that leaves you open to so many things. You know, if Kill Command is there, Quick Shot is there, Eagle Horn Bow is there, you're going to be in a bit of trouble. So killing Leok here seems like the right play.
Kill the Beast, because the Beast does too much, right?
Kill the Beast because the Beast will kill you.
Speaking of Beast, the Stranglefold Tiger finds its way to Orange's hand. We were just talking about this card. Stranglefold Tiger is going to be quite deadly here, actually, because not only is it going to sit in the shadows, waiting to pounce. Kill Command is in his hand, ready to activate, and not only that, Thijs' development is just dudes at the moment. So, yeah, it's a lot of pressure on Thijs here.
Yeah, we're looking at this, and it looks like the Stranglethorn Tiger, we were talking about it just before the game. You know, what does it do in the deck? And that's pretty much what it does. It guarantees damage that you can deal to the opponent. Assuming there's no taunts in the way, it will kill at least a Belcher if that shows up. But otherwise, you're guaranteed to get 5, and if you got Kill Command on the back of it, it's completely crippling.
Wait, I think this is, no, it's
not quite there, I don't think. Wait, now it is.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I thought Thijs was actually going to avoid making the dude there to play around Unleash the Hound's Kill Command. But Quick Shot doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
There's all the damage in the world. You're a Hunter. You always get what you need. So Orange is going to be getting the first win with the Hunter, and Stranglethorn Tiger being an instrumental part of this victory. That makes me smile just a little bit. You know, not too much because after all, it is a Hunter, but it makes me smile nonetheless.
Yeah, like I said, I like the card, but also Orange is someone I've known who's used the card in the past. So he has experience, he knows why it's there for him, and it has worked at this time. So Orange is actually going to take game number 1 versus Thijs here with the Hunter. So the Hunter is now gone, it's locked out because there's still the Conquest format.
Yep.
And what does Thijs need to do? Does he just roll the Paladin again and just try and get a win with it?
I wouldn't be surprised if he opted to do that. I mean, Hunter is a deck that, you know, with the Zombie Chow start, I thought he was going to get the advantage initially, and this is kind of what you're aiming to do. But the follow-ups from Orange were too big. I don't know what you're aiming to target if you're playing Paladin, but in a Conquest format, I know that G2 as a team, they're pretty much all agreeing that it doesn't matter what you queue with. You just play whatever, and eventually you're going to either go through or not, because you have to win with each of your decks. So if there's a weak spot, you just hope that it never occurs.
I mean, you can kind of try and line up your decks to certain matchups to get favorable matchups, but you're relying on your opponent to have the same mindset as you, trying to play mind games. Because if they're just random, mind games go out the window.
Exactly, and that's what I like about RDU. I keep asking him every time, what do you think of Conquest? What do you think is relevant? And he just says, oh, you just randomize. Sometimes you think, most of the time you're randomized, you just do whatever. So I think overall, Thijs might be following the exact same strategy. And there we go, Orange playing Druid versus Thijs' Warlock, which looks to be a Zoo, right?
Yeah, we were talking about Zoo the other day and its impact he'll have on the game once Patron has been cycled out, because Patron obviously works so effectively against like Implosion and some of the smaller minions. But now, if Druid does actually become stay in the meta game for now, Zoo will do really well, Mech Mage will do really well, Paladin. So it looks like Thijs maybe is targeting this Druid deck.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense, because if you expect Patron not to be played, then suddenly Handlock doesn't work nearly as well. So you might as well bring Zeus, since Druid might stick around. Druid is a deck that, as you said earlier, can win just about, it can win against anything. Sure, it wants Patron in the meta to really, be good and maybe the best, but it still works even if you don't have it. So it's a good precaution to bring it in case your opponent has decks that your Druid can take a win against, such as the Warlock from Thijs.
And these two decks, these two archetypes at least, have kind of stood the test of time. They're both still in the game, even though they've existed for so long within Hearthstone. Yeah. So it just shows how strong these decks are in the right environment here.
So Orange has no swipe in his hand right now, and Thijs is looking at the possibility, very soon at least, to get himself some imps. And without a swipe, this is kind of difficult to deal with if you're a Druid. Is the whole Grim Patron problem to an extent where if the board is flooded, Druid just has no way to just whiplash back in the game.
Yeah, it can be a big problem with them. Swipe is very important, especially in this matchup, because it clears up the imps, not only just from the imp game boss, but from the implosion as well.
Right.
But the reason Zoo has such a good time in this matchup, because it just overwhelms the Druid. They don't have any super hard removal like Brawl, like a big area effect, or some of the other stuff.
Oh my god, the unstable ghoul! Oh, the esports have already started! Oh my goodness, this is unreal. And Orange right now with the esports smile. You know that smile, right? It means I'm feeling quite good about myself right now.
Things could have looked bad. I didn't have Swipe, but then RNG went in my favor, and a cheeky smile from him there. Thijs kind of raised his eyebrows like, really? Come on.
Is this Hearthstone or is it not? Well, I guess this is it, Thijs. Your hot streak is on the way out. So we'll see whether or not this cripples Thijs, because again, he's got the other implosion. He still has a good amount of damage output in his hand. All he needs is to be able to get back on the board. So anything that he could get, another imp gang boss, would at least be somewhat relevant. And if Thijs opts to trade away the ghoul, he's going to have to do a bit more than that before it pops. So we'll see.
The thing is, does Orange want the ghoul to kind of be popped now, so he loses his entire board? And if so, how do you do that? Do you Wrath your own ghoul? Like
you would have to, or Keeper of the Grove it, I guess. But I'm guessing Wrath. It's just that you don't cycle, but then you can innervate out the Druid of the Claw, which gives you a guaranteed board control. So very, very big amount of tempo here gained by Orange, and Thijs is going to have to rely on the second implosion, I think, to get him through this.
I mean, it looks a bit strange throwing a Wrath at your own, and you don't see that every day. I can't actually recall when I've ever seen that. So
it happens once in a while, but it's not something you see very frequently. Definitely not.
Unless you like Wrath your own dude for cycle, because you have nothing else to do. But yeah, another implosion to come down. Hits four again.
All right, the counter esports is coming out, and Thijs needs to dodge the swipe. And he did.
For now. Keeper of the Grove really good in this matchup, being able to ping off those pesky 3-2s like Knife Jugglers, Imps. So still looking pretty decent for Orange at the moment.
Yeah.
Until these overwhelmings start flying around and these 1-1s get super amounts of value.
That's what I was going to say. Right now, Thijs has the only hand, I think, that would really put him in a position that's as good as this one. The best one would probably be a Doomguard top deck, where you go Power Overwhelm and Imp, and then you play Doomguard, and then you trade into everything, and you have the Doomguard still on the board at the end of the sequence. And Orange is sitting on a fairly awkward hand with a Force of Nature Savage Roar right now. It is the win condition, but without a play on the board, it's not something you're looking to have just yet.
The thing is, Thijs could have opted to clear the whole board here. I don't think he needs to. Clearing the taunts just enough, but Orange is almost in top deck mode now, because he just needs to find minions.
Oh my god, Orange, what are you doing? This is obscene.
Wow, Orange has just had some good RNG this game. He's had that Druid out, and he finds the swipe as well from the card draw. So going forward, Orange has a lot of good options, and the combo sitting in his hand ready to fire once Thijs gets within the health range. Yeah,
but it's not over yet. We're looking at Thijs' hand. It's looking like he can clear this board fairly easily. The problem is he going to be able to put on the pressure that he needs to? Because it's one thing to clear the board, but it's another to actually win the game. And with Druid getting himself, oh my goodness.
Wow. Top deck after top deck. You know, they're just finding the cards they need here.
And he's got a perfect way to trade it away, get the Mal'Ganis on the board, buff those imps, keep them alive, taunt them up, do anything you want. You know, this is a pretty exciting first game for the day, I'd say.
I think it's excellent. You know, we find answers from both players in this game so far, but they've kind of been countered. So the swipe, so implosion gets cleared by the unstable ghoul, and then the other implosion comes down, and then he has the overwhelmings. He finds a swipe, thinking, right, there's imps here, there's a 2-1, and then Mal'Ganis comes from the tap there.
And I love that play here from Thijs deciding to, oh my god! What is this? I was going to say taunting up the imp and the 2-1 just to make sure that they're full health, but they're not anymore.
It's just answer after answer.
I don't understand this. Is this BlizzCon and Purple playing? I don't know what's going on.
This is insane. He's just... each player is finding a response, like a big swing response.
Every single turn. Like, I really thought the unstable ghoul was a big deal. And then Thijs proved me otherwise, right? It's just, I thought the card draw from Ancient of Lore would matter, but it didn't. And I thought the Void Call would do nothing, but it did. I don't know what's going on in this game anymore. All right.
What's he going to draw next? What does Thijs need to draw next to really keep the theme?
Doomguard. You get Doomguard, and I think you literally just take the cake here.
Oh, it's Argent. He has a tap.
He could tap it. It's possible. He can do it. He's not losing much by trading into the BGH. A Doomguard here would be disgustingly powerful, and it is a mere Spiderling.
Which can be the problem with Zoo sometimes. You know, you need some kind of heavy hitters hitting the board from those taps, and sometimes you just find the 1-1 or the 1-2.
All right, so now Orange has the option of either developing the Shade to guarantee a big Force of Nature swing next turn, or going for the combo now, denying his opponent the ability to tap for Taunt Giver. So I think there's a good consideration being given here for just doing the combo immediately and using the second Force of Nature right afterwards. Lotheb would be the only thing I think that you're very, very worried about.
I quite like that play, actually. Take him down to 2. He can't tap. He has 1 draw then to save him.
Yep.
So you limit him to his whatever he draws off the top. But it looks like Orange doesn't want to take the super risk here. I guess he could clear the 2-2, or he could just go all face with here to kind of secure the win. Yeah, it looks like he's just going to...
I mean, you could just kill the Argent Squire so that Taunt can only apply to 1 minion.
Yep,
in the best case scenario. All right, so what he's doing here is that he's preventing Defensive Argus from stopping the combo from being lethal. And I think, I mean, that's the obvious reason why he just did what he did. I like it. Removing the shield guarantees that the retaliation damage from that 1-1 will not be higher when the shield is up.
And it looks like Thijs isn't going to find a taunt here.
And Thijs is probably going to cry. Wait, do you kill your own spider? Does it ever matter to power overwhelm your spider to get 2 knife hits to kill that Shade?
That's a lot of RNG.
It is, but what else are you going to do, right?
That's true.
And there we go. Thijs going to be able to kill it. He doesn't know that it doesn't matter, but he's got to hope that there's not another combo. Oh, first one hits, and so does the second one, but it is all for naught.
I'm sure Thijs was happy with that, but now he sees the second Force of Nature come down, nods his head, knowing that, you know, Druid doing Druid things.
Well, he knows Druid by heart. He knows everything about Druid. He knew that was there from the moment the game started. Thijs knew the exact outcome of the game. You could see him, you know, all the way through. He knew that he was going to lose this to a combo.
2-0, so interesting. Orange just a mage left, so mage is my favorite class mainly because there's so many directions you can take that deck.
Right.
Freeze mage, echoes mage, tempo mage, control mage, dragon mage. There's just so many different things you can do with it.
Yeah, it's one of those decks, I think, or one of those classes that is that, you know, much like Warlock, they have many archetypes they can use. Only a handful are used really in competitive play. On ladder, however, it's pretty much open season. You play whatever it is you want. You'll at least be able to hit Legend, maybe not get to the top of it, and that's what I like about the class. People are saying that with the removal of Grim Patron, or the banning of it, Freeze Mage becomes better because Zoo becomes better, and maybe Paladin becomes better. And as a result of that, Freeze Mage might come back. It was, you know, missing in action for a while now.
You know, Mage is a class through archetypes that can adapt to the meta sometimes.
Right.
Mech Mage is strong when Druid's about. Like I said, Freeze Mage is strong when Zoo's about. So there's a lot of different directions a Mage can go to adapt to the meta game. If you do like Mage that much and you do want to bring the class, what do you think Orange is going to bring?
I don't know. A lot of people were talking about Tempo Mage recently, and it looks like a Tempo/Mech. I'm guessing it's somewhere in between. It looks like Tempo just based on the Azure Drake. You don't always see them everywhere, although they're playable in just about every single spin on Tempo/Mech.
Yeah, Orange's hand doesn't give you too much information, really, because it could be Mech or Tempo from what we see so far.
But it is going to be an aggressive deck. More aggressive than a Freeze Mage, that's for sure. Yeah, definitely.
So looking at Thijs' hand here, double Voidwalker, abusive. He's got that egg into Void Terror turn. Such a good swing, especially if we're talking with tempo here. Getting a 4/4 and a 3/5 on turn 3 is going to be a bit of a nightmare for Orange if he doesn't find the right answer.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing about that that sequence of plays is that Mage has no good answer at that stage, usually. Usually they don't have an amazing answer at that stage. Frostbolt doesn't kill anything. Fireball, you have to use on a 3/5, feels a little bad. You want to keep that for something else.
Flame Cannon is a way to deal with the 4/4 once this egg gets popped.
Yeah, it's a coin flip, but you can definitely kill at least one of them for sure.
And if he does go for the Voidwalker into abusive here, it definitely will be a coin flip. So Orange will have to analyze, is it worth taking the risk? Killing a Voidwalker with a Flame Cannon or killing the 4/4?
Yeah, and with the 2/1 as well, I mean, you can only play Flame Cannon You know, it's a coin flip. If you go for Frostbolt, at least you damage the minion, and then you can finish it off next turn with a ping, and follow it up with a Flame Cannon on the following turn. All right, so I would not even be surprised to see Frostbolt being used on the 4-4 or a ping on the 2-1. It's either or. I think both are perfectly defendable plays.
It very much depends how threatened Orange feels right now. And it looks like the ping is just going to be enough here. He doesn't feel that Throne of Frostbolt at this 4-4 is just right yet. Because he does have Flame Waker in his hand. So turn 5, he does have a Frostbolt option there as well. So maybe he's taking that into consideration.
All right, so Thijs, with the possibility of Mirror Entity, is not going to put himself in a position where it's going to be an issue.
Yeah, gives him the Void Walker. Yep. Not a problem here. Although clearing the Void Walker does line up a Frostbolt nicely on that next turn, but you know, that was the best dish. It's better to give him the Void Walker than it is to give him the Argent Squire, just because the shield just gives it a bit more life.
Yeah, what's interesting too is that, well, not what's interesting, rather, but the reason why it doesn't really matter if the Frostbolt hits is because if there's a Frostbolt, then he's only got 2 leftover mana to play with, which means what is he going to really play that contests your board for 2 mana? And there's very little. So Frostbolting here is a net tempo loss, and as a result, I don't think it's a play that you're happy to make. So there's a good argument for doing what he just did, which is, you know, keep your spells for Flame Waker, get that massive tempo swing through spells, and hope that things work out better afterwards.
And Argus hitting a fantastic target there. Argent Squire getting hit by Argus with a shield is usually excellent. And a terrible shredder there. RNG not really going in Orange's favor here. So now the Zoo is starting to do what Zoo does best, swarm the board, keep the pressure on.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's a Flame Waker Sorcerer's Apprentice combination, but nothing to really use it with. You can't even cast a single spell, so you'd have to wait for next turn. You also don't want to play a Drake because it just dies, but it acts as pseudo removal for the 4-3. So it's acting like that Frostbolt we spoke of earlier. You know, removing the Drake from the board at the same time as doing other a card draw. I like it. Solid enough.
Tap's going to come down in Gambos. Nice pickup there. Like you said, this Drake is going to meet its fate very shortly, but he got the card draw. He might have found something like an Arcane Missiles or maybe a Mirror Entity, or maybe cycle closer to them where he can really let this Flame Waker wreak havoc with its effect.
Yeah, with the Imgang boss on the board though, that Flame Waker is looking worse and worse, and we see a Ragnaros coming from Orange's deck, which is a card that I actually love in Tempo Mage. I was talking actually, I remember I was on the Value Town podcast and Reynad was talking about the value of Ragnaros, so a few good points were exchanged, and it's just a big threat that nobody can answer efficiently when it falls on the board. And you know, even though it forces a BGH, and BGH is a big weakness to it, the amount of value you get out of it is much better than pretty much any legendary at that cost.
And one of the Tempo Mage decks that's really picked up popularity is Casino Mage.
Right.
And Casino Mage just plays right into the style of deck with Ragnaros, because taking those RNG shots.
Oh man, the 3-5 and the 4-4 meet again.
And this is what we were talking about earlier. Tyson opted for this play earlier on because he was able to clear the Mad Scientist, but he does get a nice bulky board, and the pressure's still on here.
Yeah, Flame Strike is what you're looking to do here, but you don't necessarily have it when you need it. You might, if you're Orange, have to go for the, the Casino at this point. You were talking about that. It's basically Flame Waker, Sorcerer's Apprentice, and
Frozen spells
just
around.
do it.
He can actually line up his spells a bit more efficiently here, so we could maybe Frostbolt something first, and then the Flame Cannon can line up to where he wants. So, but it looks like he's actually going to go for the Flame Cannon first, and then just pick something off with the Frostbolt. Oh, that's a great target to hit with the Flame Cannon.
If the Imp dies, oh wow, that kills the 4-3 with the Frostbolt. That could literally be the move that Orange needed to swing back in the game.
That was fantastic, Flame Cannon there.
Oh my goodness, those hits. Puts both minions into the death range of the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Uh-oh.
Doomguard. Mal'Ganis sitting in hand. He may... Haunted Creep with Doomguard, I think that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, Mal'Ganis is an important card, but in this case, you're likely going to have to play it from hand if you don't find a Void Caller immediately. So Doomguard is obviously... you don't lose too much from it. And if you wait a little longer, you're going to lose even more. So
it gives him a good answer to the Flame Waker as well if he decides to use the Doomguard, because it keeps his other minions healthy. So if he wants to get rid of the Doomguard, he might have to throw a Fireball at it, while the other minions will stick around and they'll still do some damage and get some value.
Yeah, I think Thijs is still in a winning position if things don't go completely wrong in the next turn.
Well, Ragnaros is coming up. Things could go wrong there if he decides to play it.
That could also spot the Creeper.
Yes. And Unstable Portal. You never know. Casino things, right?
Hashtag casino things. So there's a total of 8 damage already on the board. Do you think you're dead? If you think you're dead, you would maybe consider Ragnaros. Otherwise, you roll the dice. And there we go.
See what he gets.
Oh, wow, he can target minions with his hero power now.
Oh, wow.
That's very
awesome.
good.
He can actually start pinging minions now. He couldn't do that before.
This is really good. Oh, man. 2-3, do nothing.
Yeah. At least there's a body you can play now, and it can contest some stuff. Of course, you want a big high-impact legendary. Oh! Another Doom Guard, and he can play the 1/1 with it as well.
The light protects me.
At the moment, people are crying for the fate of this poor mage. So do you trade away your 3/3 anywhere? It seems like there's an argument you can make for it.
I like the face here, because he has to deal with... Well, the Argent Squire is going to probably stick around. Ooh, Toshley.
All right, so that could buff up the Mana Worm just a little bit more. And if it actually, if you get the spare part that gives +1 attack, you can buff the Mana Worm up to 5, but it still doesn't handle the Doom Guard. You need to get reversing switch with a ping.
Yeah, I do like the aggressive play from Thijs there. He's forcing him to deal with the whole board now. Right. Otherwise, he's just going to get taken out. And then Thijs has 2 draws next turn anyway and just refills the board.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's correct to attack here because the only way you get punished is if there's, Frost Bolts and Flame Cannons again. And that would be the only time where this play ends up not killing your opponent on the following turn.
So Ragnaros trade into the 3/3 and hope that shot hits the Doom Guard to stay alive on 1 health if he doesn't draw any buffs.
Yeah,
Let's
and
see
he
where
might
it goes.
just pop the spider.
Oh, hits the face. Not where you want it to go.
All right, so Thijs is going to be able to take the win here. Orange is going to lose 1. And, this is a Conquest format. Again, reiteration of the explanation. People have to win with every single deck. So if Orange is not able to secure a single win with the Mage, Thijs could just go for it and take it all. He's got a Hunter and a Paladin on the back end. The Mage that Orange is playing, I think, is going to have an okay matchup against the Paladin from Thijs. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, very much depends if he gets the key cards. Flame Waker with a spell to clear up the musters. I mean, the thing with Tempo Mages, Tempo Mage still has a lot of... it has a capability to really swing out control early. You get the Mana Worms, you get the spells. So if he can find that really good opening hand, it might be hard, say, for a Paladin to come back. But Zombie Chow's going to definitely make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, it really helps a lot if you're facing down a Mirror Entity or, having to contest with the, Mad Scientist early that you really can't handle too well. It's just going to have to be... that's the kind of the strength and the weakness of the Paladin deck from Thijs, is that it's got more early game, but sometimes, you'd rather hold on maybe to a Zombie Chow for later. There are really no amazing in the mid-game targets that you want to give your opponent on a Mirror Entity in that deck if you've already played them early. So we'll have to see how things pan out. As far as the Hunter, it's not a class that is as popular as it was. Right, we saw Orange, of course, play his version with Stranglethorn Tiger. I wonder if Thijs' version is maybe just a little bit more on the mid-range side.
Yeah, either mid-range or faster. It can go either way. Or it could just be a hybrid again. I mean, there's been players in the competitive scenes had a lot of success with Hunter, even in the previous metagame, Hoy and Jab. And Jab is considered like a Hunter master. So the deck has found some play, but like you said, not as much within the scene as a whole.
Yeah, I know Thijs really likes his hybrid. So this hand here from Orange looks like a...
crazy hand.
Yeah, it's a, to put it mildly, he's got a trinity of minions that work with spells. Mana Worm, Sorcerers, Flame Waker. That's effectively the only 3 cards you're looking for. And then he's got cheap spells and the coin. How much better can this get?
And this is what I was just talking about. Tempo Mage can get these hands, which look very much like this, which can really swing the game out of control and give the Mage a huge advantage. But Thijs is fortunate to have the Zombie Chow sitting there ready to challenge some minions, and Knife Juggler coming down as well. So Thijs will be able to put up a fight here.
And this Mana Worm is going to get buffed if, if Orange opts to go for this spell spam immediately. He could hold on to his spells to play them with Flame Waker perhaps a bit later. I think there's a good argument to be made for that. If the Zombie Chow attacks here, maybe you just want to ping and attack with the 1/3 into the Knife Juggler, and then follow it up later with a Flame Waker, Sorcerer's Apprentice, coin everything, and then keep playing from there.
Yeah, really throw down everything. When the board's a bit more developed, you still have to consider stuff like Muster for Battle.
Right.
Something you want to get rid of if it does come down. It's a bit of a... Yeah, pinging the Knife Juggler I think is fine. Like you said, the Knife Juggler itself is a threat with Muster for Battle, and it's the typical turn 3 play for the Paladin. But Scientist is not bad either.
You know, like I like about every. I think that like in a typical situation, the Apprentice you'd play here with maybe Arcane Missiles and see where things go. The thing is, now that you have Flame Waker, you kind of want to hold on to them. So I think it's funny how the situation changed very fast as soon as the Flame Waker came in. Like all the spells changed, their value dynamically went up.
I do like, so Apprentice Arcane Missiles, it buffs the worm, he can trade efficiently into the Knife Juggler. If the missiles hit the zombie chair, we could get a full board clear.
Right.
I think it's worth the risk here to try and regain the board, because it's all about tempo.
But what if that doesn't work? I mean, you could go Sorcerer Apprentice, coin Frostbolt. That's a guaranteed clear.
Oh, that's true.
That's an absolutely guaranteed clear, and the only thing that kills the 3-2 is, I guess it's like Coghammer, I guess. Coghammer would be the card that is able to kill the Apprentice.
And this is like you said, where the value of the spells change. I mean, coin has a lot of value with Flame Waker, but it looks like guaranteeing the trades here with the Frostbolt and the buff was more important than keeping the coin for the Flame Waker later.
And this is the weakness of the Paladin deck that Thijs is playing. Sometimes you get those hands that just don't work too well. There's a Mysterious Challenger again. We were talking about that. It's the mid-range Secret Valley. It takes people off guard because it looks like mid-range, but it's actually somewhat of a spin on Secret. So we'll see if he's able to recover the board. For now, he can't curve into anything on 4, and turn 6 is a long ways away.
Flame Waker probably just going to come down here. Arcane Missiles may be held on to because he does have the other one in hand. Doesn't see a muster for battle. So, but the secret is a big question for Orange now. What is the secret? Is it get down? Is it
Repentance?
Repentance? You know, there's a lot of things to consider. So trade in here doesn't get hit by the get down.
It is not Noble Sacrifice. At least he took a gamble on it. I wonder what the reasoning was. I don't really need the 3-2.
Perhaps. I guess he...
Yeah, I mean, I guess if it was get down, he would have been able to play Arcane Missiles with Mad Scientist, right? He would have still had to play on 3.
I like the pass here. Don't need to use the Arcane Missiles just yet. Let them find a bit more value.
Oh man, he's waiting for that Flame Waker, Arcane Missiles. There's going to be a lot of 1 damage pings going outwards, but this is buying Thijs the time that he needs to get to turn 5 and 6. And with Lotheb and Challenger, this is not looking too bad for him.
It's looking great from Orange's perspective at the moment because of the aggression and having the board right now, but Challenger just can swing things so out of control for Paladin.
And he's got to kill a 1-1 because Blessing of Kings is not something you can let go, and good thing he killed it. Now Lotheb is going to lock down this board, put it on lockdown, and deal with both Flame Wakers at once.
Yeah, no spells coming from Orange Spellslinger, so this is more casino style.
Yeah. Everything is casino style nowadays, didn't you know?
Well, we saw like Nias and Hot Form bring more honest tempo mages, but this one really kind of changes things. Polymorph Borg
with Blessing of Kings, that's 8 damage to the face. No,
you can turn a 1-1 into 8 damage. That's crazy.
Yeah. And now what's interesting here is that Thijs also top decked another secret from his deck. Even though he's not playing a secret heavy deck, so that means that the value of the Challenger goes down. He's only playing, I think, 6 secrets at most in the deck, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I'll have to ask him afterwards. But it's not, running a full 9 that some versions are going all in on.
Fort Steel, Mysterious Challenger.
Oh man!
For the mage.
Oh man, this is it.
Let's see what he does. He's going to test the trap first, see what's going on.
That would be, honestly, now that you mention it, I want to see that happen. I want to see the Thought Steal into Challenger. With like 2 counter spells and everything. You have to play everything.
Build a deck based on Fort Steel and Challengers.
I think that's good.
All the secrets.
Isn't that Casino Mage in a nutshell, though? If you play Effigies on top?
Yeah, you might as well. Avenge hits the low fab.
Which is exactly what I was looking for. Now, he doesn't, he does have to double trade. He should be fine with the play, though. That's really bad.
Yeah.
Minion. So
plays into Consecrate as well, which is a shame.
I mean, if it's Redemption, right? Would you have known it? Yeah, you would have known.
All right.
Already.
So it's Competitive Spirit, I imagine?
I think so, yeah.
Which doesn't really have much impact on the board. It just puts his 6/6 into BGH range.
You could Polymorph Boar that 4/3. Or one of the muster for battle that you're just going to put down.
Yep.
That could you don't even have to play minion and trigger anything with Mirror Entity. You literally can let it sit there.
I mean, you don't want to give this Major Sludge Belcher, so maybe that's something he's considering. Although having the Polymorph Boar in hand with the Kings gives him a lot of burst potential.
Yeah. We'll have to see what he opts for, but I think both plays are perfectly valid. I mean, you do have the weapon to kill the 2-1. You can take your time, I think. Because if you have a board when the Belcher, when you give him the Belcher, you're able to answer it immediately. So. And
the mid-range Paladin's going to have... it may run like Lay on Hands, it may run Divine Favor, so that's a lot of stuff to recharge its hand if it needs to. Boar on the Shredder, I like this.
Yeah, silence that Death Rattle and give it, deal 1 damage to it, basically. When Huffer can't charge, it's not a problem.
And it's a Noble Sacrifice down as well,
exactly.
So he's protecting his 7-5. Looking really good for Thijs here.
Orange is going to hope for a spell. He picks up 1 spell, but not something he's necessarily, happy to have. I mean, that Polymorph Boar is just so good with Noble Sacrifice. It's not even funny. It couldn't get much better than that.
So testing the trap first to see if he needs to ping or not.
Oh man, this is beautiful. Seeing a boar die to a 2-1, I feel like I'm vindicated.
It's not even Huffer as well. It's just some. It's just some
a
other
spin-off, right? It's a fake.
The fake. Oh, mini mage. That's not something you want to find either. He's not finding very good portals.
You're laughing now, but wait until he finds Flame Strike and deals 5 damage on turn 8.
Mini mage, Flame Strike. What a combo.
Yeah, it kills everything.
So bot gonna come down on a 1-1 here. This 1-1 becomes incredibly valuable now. Getting so many stats.
What is Mirror Entity and why do I have to play into it?
Yeah, just don't play anything while you have board. Yep, trades in. 7-5, still sitting nice and healthy. He's going to smash him right in the face here. So Orange just needs to find some board clear.
The Flame Strike.
It's a flame, but it's not a Flame Strike.
He could do it, though. He's got the Thoughtseal for Consecration. That's something good. If he gets the Consec, it'll give him 3 damage AoE. Oh, and he picks it up with the Mini Mage as well. He can just wipe the board next turn using the Flame Cannon that he just picked up. Death from the Shadows. Oh, man. I don't think I've heard the battle cry very often in my life.
I don't think I've ever heard it.
I at least have the advantage of playing that type of deck very frequently.
Oh, another challenger as well, so...
Feed him that. You give him that and you trade into it, right?
Yeah, that seems good.
Or maybe that's just not a play you want to make. Maybe giving him a Shredder is better. Because you play the Belcher to contest it immediately, and then you just go face.
Yeah, Thijs, there's a lot of ways he can go this. He can stay into the trading war here. Like you said, he could play Challenger, just trade into them, and get any secrets he has left. Or he can give the Belcher, the Shredder, sorry, and then contest that with the Belcher. It'll protect it.
I think it makes a lot of sense. One has 3 attack, the other has 3 health, so you're guaranteed to kill whatever you gave him. Now, you just have to dodge some of the crazy outcomes, and you should be, I think, pretty far ahead. So there's a chance that Thijs is equalizing this series.
So Entity finally finds a target. It's been like 5 turns or something like that where Thijs has just been dodging it, and Belcher, like I said, is going to protect him. 7 to the face.
Flame Cannon hits for 5 here, but it's not guaranteed to hit what it wants.
Oh, Tony.
Does Tony help here?
Tony gives him a Fireball, but I think Blessing of Kings
might be just the optimal play, right?
Yeah. We'll have to see where this Flame Cannon goes, I guess.
All right, that's good. Now you're safe at least, and you can start using your minions to trade with his board. And the odds that the Paladin is able to wipe your board while killing you is pretty slim at this stage, I think.
And the thing with Paladins, sometimes they can struggle with, especially if they don't have board, is finding that little bit of damage to finish off the game. They very much rely on like True Silver, Blessing of Kings. Consecrate's not really much burst.
Exactly.
So he might actually be able to lock Thijs out of being able to finish the game, but Tyrion comes off the top.
Now that's a card you want to see in this position. If I'm Thijs, I'm pretty happy. Now this is like, do you ever trade anything here, or do you just go face and try to finish it off? I think there's a really good argument for just trading and guaranteeing that nothing goes wrong.
Yeah, I like hitting the 8-2 there.
Oh, 4-1.
4-1.
That dies to a ping, right?
It does, but the shield will still stick around, so he has some decisions to make. Maybe Toshli can make a difference.
Freeze that Tyrion Forging and you're golden. Well, at least your Toshli is golden.
Firing that gun off like nobody's business. I've never seen golden Toshli, actually.
Oh, really? I think Orange just crafts everything golden.
This Toshli's got infinite
He's a role
ammo.
player. He's just a role player.
Whirling Blades isn't it.
You can buff Toshli, so, it kills Tyrion next turn. It doesn't do much right now. So what are you looking for out of this? A taunt? Well, that'll do it.
That's pretty good. I mean, a Noistron would have been fantastic, but a free fall is nothing to... It could have been a parrot, right? A 1/1 parrot, but you got the free fall, so that's pretty decent.
It's definitely up there. I think it's right under Millhouse, right?
Yeah.
Like there's Succubus and Totem Golem. I think overall we'd venture to say that the Totem Golem is a bit better than Succubus because the 3/4 is usually better than a 4/3. And he doesn't keep the spare part for the Archmage Antonidas. That is going to be lethal with the Blessing of Kings.
Wow, finding... Like I was saying, Paladin sometimes finds it hard to find that little bit of damage to finish the game, but double Blessing of Kings in the Paladin deck from Thijs is going to tie up this to 2-2.
So he ties it up.
And this Mage is... Because he's not rolling well in the casino. The dice are not going his way.
Yeah, and Thijs is looking at this and he's thinking to himself, I have a chance. You know, it started off really difficult. He went 0-2 and now he's equalizing the series. It happens fairly frequently. You see it often, but you can tell that the players, when they're up, they're down 2 games, they feel like the third, like winning everything, like reverse sweeping is just not going to happen. But in this case, Thijs might be able to pull it off, and I think that's going to be a big confidence boost going forward.
And it's not like this Mage hasn't had tools to fight these decks. He had a really good opening hand, Orange, when in that game, but he still lost. So maybe the Tempo Mage isn't performing to the standard that he'd like it.
Yeah, I know that Thijs has this top 10 decks he would play in a format, and we were talking about this. He said Tempo Mage is not on that list. I don't think it's a deck that's particularly good. Him and Dog were actually, I think, debating that or discussing the Tempo Mage deck. And Thijs, I don't think, is a big fan of it. And so far, it's proving him wrong. It's proving him right, that is, because he's winning against it.
Yeah, Orange not being able to find the win. He was so close yet so far. Maybe Orange can squeeze a win against this Hunter, but we don't know. He doesn't know any information about this Hunter. Is it mid-range? Is it aggro? Is it hybrid?
I think betting on hybrid's a good call if you're up against Thijs. G2 in general plays a lot of hybrid. I mean, RDU is a big fan of the deck. You see him play it pretty much whenever he plays Hunter. It's a hybrid variant. So we'll see exactly what's in it. For now, looks pretty standard. There's nothing in there that's a dead giveaway. Lotheb and Savannah Hyamane, both cards that you could find in a hybrid Hunter as well.
Abusive is something you generally do find in hybrid, but I have seen mid-range Hunters just put in one in the past, just to be able to give this smaller minions a bit of extra reach when dealing with like taunt minions or just minions with too much health. Yeah.
So what do you play in this position? Do you just go for the safe 3/4, or do you try to unstable portal your way to a card that's going to be good?
Well, considering how bad Unstable Portal's been for Orange recently, I just sling some spells and hope for the best.
Yeah, I mean, if you play Spellslinger, your weakness is something like maybe Hunter's Mark. That's the worst, really, like a Hunter's Mark that ends up using one of the 1/1s to kill it. But, if you get a spell next turn, Flame Waker with Arcane Missiles is likely to work out. So even if you fall behind on board, that is, and if you get a spell that you can use right away, then that's going to be pretty amazing.
There is a lot to consider, because if this is just traditional mid-range, he could Hindmaster, Coin Hindmaster. Clearing the 1/1s, gaining board might have been something he was thinking about, but it looks like he's just going to clear the Spider, stop the Hindmaster, and Bane of Doom.
Yeah, Bane of Doom and Upgrade. Like, Upgrade is a 1-cost spell. We're talking about a deck that likes 1-cost spells. Right, it's no backstab, but it's something good. You can trigger traps with it. In this matchup, let's say there's something like a Snake Trap, an Explosive Trap that you have to check for. That's definitely a good way to do it. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure Orange is happy about the outcome, but Thijs might be just a little bit happier.
Especially if you find when those heavy-hitting demons like Mal'Ganis, Dread Infernal. There's a lot of...
Wrathguard. Such a good card.
There's a lot of stuff you can... Oh, the new Doom Guard. What's
Fearsome Doom Guard.
A 6/8. Like, that's a lot of stats for 5 mana. So, what to see? I want to see where this Bane of Doom goes in the future. I think it's going to be fun.
All right, so Thijs playing properly around Mirror Entity, guaranteeing that he doesn't lose too much to it, and he keeps the board, kind of safe here. And the trade is a good one, because you know that the Mage would otherwise be able to remove your board on his own terms.
And great mechanical play from him there.
What do we expect? Flame Waker Arcane Missiles or Flame Waker Upgrade? Which one is safer? The safer one is Upgrade, because you're guaranteed to be able to hit Misha.
No, that's true.
But the Arcane Missiles could kill the 2/1 more frequently.
I think you go for the upgrade. Like I said, you can clear the Misha. You clear the Beast off the table as well.
So the Beast is your priority, because this lowers your chances of you killing that 2/1. I mean, I guess you could go for the trade first, and then you play Flame Waker Upgrade. That's more likely to work than if you let Misha sit at full health.
That's true. That's true. I think that's actually probably the best way to go about it. Simply because you increase the chances of killing. Let's see what these shots are going to fire to.
And they're good. Good shots.
That was a really good good Flame Waker turn for him there. Gets to clear the whole board and get rid of the beast. And this Flame Waker is going to need some work to get hit off the field.
And now we'll see what the traps are in Thijs' deck. Again, he's able to, if he places something like Explosive Trap, Orange is able to use his weapon to trigger that because it triggers when the hero gets attacked, which is something that I think is really important to mention here. Bane of Doom. Oh man, he's setting it up. You know what? Orange has no idea what's coming.
We have no idea what's coming. It could be something
No, but he doesn't even know there's a Bane of Doom. That's the cool thing. I want to see his face.
Well, I want to see his. What would Thijs' face be if a Blood Imp showed up?
I mean, it's not half bad. It's a demon, right?
A 0/1 demon that buffs your dudes.
Best demon NA.
All right, missiles to come down. Looks like he's going to try and clear this scientist by protecting. All go face.
So Reynad is playing instead of Orange here.
All right, 2-1 going to trap here. Freezing trap bounces it back, so we can use this later now.
Yeah,
so,
I like that.
And it plays around Bane of Doom, surprisingly.
There's no Bane of Doom for Thijs this time. I don't know what he's going to go for, though, in a position like this one. I guess Lotheb is just a safe pick because you're forcing your opponent to kill it. However, in this case, all Orange has to do is smash the Shredder and use the weapon instead of usually what he would do, use 2 of his mana to ping off the Lotheb, so he won't really be getting a massive tempo loss from this. Yeah,
he's really good, this weapon. This weapon actually turned out being excellent for an excellent pickup for him, whereas the Bane of Doom hasn't really shown much.
Archmage could fall down.
I think you just slam him.
Nice no questions asked. With a Sorcerer Apprentice in your hand, you can start cycling fireballs pretty quickly. You can play Sorcerer Apprentice and then go for an unstable fireball play.
Flare, interesting.
That could have come in handy earlier. I think Thijs was expecting a lot of Secret Paladin. He's been disappointed, I'm sure, at this point, but he might work out later in the stages of the game.
Slam timing, definitely one fireball go into the hand. And this pint-sized summoner is getting some work done here. A lot of value, being able to, for him to play a lot of cards you wouldn't be able to play at once. Yeah, 0 mana Mana Worm, 1 mana Sorcerer's Apprentice.
I can't even believe this. The Pint-Sized Summoner and the Sorcerer's Apprentice are just working in tandem to make Thijs' life a nightmare.
This is what happens when you get 2 female gnomes together who are mages. They just work so well together.
Yeah, this is why they nerfed Pint-Sized, at least. All right, here we go. What does the Unstable Portal give? A Frostwolf Warlord.
Wow, that's a lot of stats.
I mean, at 2 mana, I might consider it.
But do you want to cycle another fireball? I guess that's the question.
I guess I do. I mean, it buffs the worm. Yeah, Frostwolf. If you play Frostwolf, I think what you do is you just go face and set up lethal for next turn and forcing the opponent to scramble to answer this. That would be the only reason why you would opt for the Frostwolf. So if you want to play it slower, however, you end up killing the Savannah like he's doing here. It's a very safe play. Yeah,
and if he trades both of these hyenas, he protects it from kill commands. He relies on him having a beast to be able to deal with it.
Alright, so Powder Shredder, not what you want to see. Is there a way for him to kill that Archmage? Right now, it would have to be a kill command Eagle Hornbow, which probably means you're in a very bad spot afterwards. So do you go for the Casino and you roll that Bane of Doom?
Maybe. It's tough. I mean, you throw a lot of resources at this Archmage with the kill command and Eagle Hornbow, and then you just don't do anything else. You just sit there and tank another 6 damage to the face, or even potentially more.
What about you flare into a Haunted Creeper, right?
Yeah.
And then you kill command this. Never mind. This is a lot more reasonable.
If I learned something about Thijs, I think he likes stability in his lines of plays. If he doesn't like Tempo Mage, he obviously does. I don't think he likes RNG kind of plays. If he can go for something solid, he'll go for it. And it looks like he's gone with that decision here.
All right, so I think this is lethal, if I'm not mistaken. We're looking at 2 buffs from the Mana Worm, exact lethal from the board, an overkill with a hero power.
That pint-sized summoner did a lot of work that game. Let him have the early Antonidas, getting those fireballs.
Yep, definitely. So Orange ends up taking it with the Tempo Mage. We were talking about the fact that it wasn't exactly the most, the most consistent deck, but he ended up getting 1 win. I have to wonder if he's happy about the choice of bringing it though.
I'm not sure. I didn't think the Tempo Mage did particularly well. I mean, even the win for him there was very situational, right? He had the pint-sized stamina from the Shredder. He got to play a Tony earlier. But he played well with what he had. And I think that's the gamble with Casino Mage. It is a risky deck.
Right. So you're basically, what that means is you're good at just adapting on the fly at what the RNG gives you over time. So
thank you very much, Orange. You won. Congratulations. Describe your feelings. You've played first here. Very nervous?
Yeah, I was pretty nervous. I mean, it's a very big tournament, so of course you are kind of nervous, but that's something like after I got a couple of games in, it felt like normal.
Okay, so both of you banned Warrior. Do you plan to ban him in all games?
Well, I won't say that yet, but I think it's a very likely chance that a lot of people go into this tournament with the plan of banning Warrior.
Okay, congratulations again. You won the current European champion. Describe your feelings. I bet it's awesome.
It feels great. Thijs is a player that I respect a lot. I rank as one of the absolute best players in the world right now. But he's also a great friend, so it's kind of bittersweet in that way.
Well done. Congratulations again, and good luck.
Well done, Orange. Very happy with that win. A lot of respect for Thijs as well, saying he shows him a lot of respect, and he, he's been practicing as well for tournaments. And Orange, in his interview, said he's ready to get back into the scene. He's ready to make his mark.
Yeah, I think this is a really good first step back on that road. Considering the amount of wins that Thijs has been accumulating, it's not over at all for Thijs, though. You know, this is a round robin, so he's going to be getting to play 4 more matches, and everything could still happen. We're in the very early phases of the LAN finals, so yeah, I mean, I want to see how the deck performs overall against the other players and their lineups.
Yeah, there's a lot going forward. We've got 2 days of round robin. The players are going to be playing each other a lot. So although one win may not seem great in the grand scheme of things, but I think getting that first win of the day and of the tournament may be the momentum you need to push.